Some people might be wondering, wow, Fausto looks a bit different. What happened? Well, unfortunately, he couldn't be here. And very last minute, I was aware that I was going to do this presentation. So please bear with me. I hope I can make Fausto justice. I want to thank Rentlio, Marco, for the invitation, for letting me, talk to you about not just hotel business, but short-term rental business. We're going to see that these two are merging more and more. So we're going to talk about that, show a bit of data. Again, my name is Joana. I joined PriceLabsa 2 years ago, and before that, I was revenue manager for hospitality. I was doing for hotels, so I know a bit of both worlds. So we're gonna jump on that. All right. In this session, we're gonna talk about revenue management. We call it hybrid landscape. Again, hotels, short-term rentals. How to optimize your inventory for success. And we're going to show you a bit of market data. We're going to show hotel market performance, but also STR. Quickly about PriceLabsa. So the company started in 2014, and it's based out of Chicago in the US. And we are pricing more than 450K units on a daily basis. And our clients are around 100 plus countries. And PriceLabsa is available in 6 languages. Just very recently, we launched German. And again, our team is very spread around the world. We all work remotely. So again, we are a revenue management system. We do for hotels, hostels, service apartments, and other hospitality accommodations. Like in the US, we have a lot of RV camping grounds that we also do revenue management. I'm going to start with a quote. If you don't have a strategy, it's like winking in the dark. Nobody knows what you're doing. So revenue management, hybrid landscape, we have these blurred lines. We have this gray area. We have hotels, apart hotels, and short-term rentals. And I know STR, for most of you, it's the reports. But for us, STR is short-term rentals, so it took me a while to adapt to it. But when I mention STRs, it's short-term rentals. What we have right now is we have hotels that usually look at just hotel data. But the truth is that we have a whole different world of short-term rental businesses. And usually we are focused on what the other hotels are doing. We follow a very specific comp set. But that's limiting, the strategy, what's actually happening in the market, making sure that we have optimized strategies. So we have to do inventory optimization, adapt to demand patterns, of course, and then the deeper understanding of your market. We have to know market trends, use the right comparables. Again, by comparables, if you are a hotel, you should look at rooms that are being sold individually in the short-term rental businesses. Your hotel might have apartments, so that's definitely something that you should also compare with short-term rental businesses. So we're going to show a little bit how these two merge together with some data. What is challenging right now? Catering to both short and long-term stays with different guest needs. I don't know how many of you have, besides hotel rooms, apartments. But for instance, Croatia, super seasonal, you have the summer. So for instance, you could do a different minimum stay for the apartments because you will most likely have families. Families stay for longer periods, so you're going to be optimizing by that. Identifying the right competitor set. Again, look at everyone in the market, not just the hotels. And then, of course, and this is what we're trying to bring across is the dynamic pricing. I don't know how many of you, by the way, I just launched the question, who is doing pricing manually at the moment? Or not using a dynamic pricing system? Okay, all right. Well, most of you have it, so that's already a good thing. But whoever isn't doing, keep in mind of the potential that you're losing by not having a tool like PriceLabsa. Again, dynamic pricing. What we do, adjust rates in real time, capitalizing on demand peaks, ensuring that you have more earnings. But of course, it's not just high season and increasing prices, it's also adapting your prices when it's low season, of course. So with PriceLabs, you can customize your data. We have a data mix. You can configure your room rates based on the specific market and business that you want to put in. You can choose if you want to compare with mostly hotels, fully hotels, or a balance between hotels and short-term rental. And you should divide your inventory, pricing, and then also, as I just mentioned, the stay rules. They should be different compared to, who is the client that you want to focus in? Who's your target client? In PriceLabs, as I said, you can choose, we call it hotel weights. So you can control, all right, PriceLabs, you have the market data, the algorithm is doing the pricing, but I actually want to focus more on hotels, not so much on short-term rental. So you can choose the balance between those two businesses. And you can also choose a specific group of competitors. And our algorithm is going to take that specific group more into account when we're doing the prices. Again, use data. Data is your best friend when you're doing strategies. If you don't have the data, you really don't know what to do. So you need to get the data, know what the data is telling you. It's not just looking at numbers. It's actually understanding what the numbers are telling you. And we have dynamic hotel data and then short-term rental data. 2 examples, dynamic hotel data. We have what is usually called a rate shopper. In PriceLabs, we call it hotel price tracker. And you can see for the next 365 days, day by day, what are the prices that your competitors are doing, and compare it with yours. Here you have a table. You can download the table, but you can also see this data through a graph where you're going to see your prices compared to your competitors, and then you can make adjustments. This data is from booking.com, by the way. And then we also have the short-term rental data. One of the big advantages of data on short-term rental is that we actually know the occupancy of the market, because you're either not booked or fully booked. You're one unit, right? So out of all the short-term rentals that are in the market, we know exactly what is the market occupancy. And we have a way of showing you that data. This is one of our graphs. You have the red line, which is the market occupancy at the moment. And then you can compare not just with last year occupancy, which would be the gray line, the dotted one, but you have this continuous gray line, which is same time last year, what was the occupancy of the market. So this helps you to manage expectations. Are we going to finish above, below last year? Should we do something about pricing? Because you can also see your own occupancy compared to the market. And you can get this data for the next 365 days. A bit of market performance. We're going to start with hotel and an overview of the supply of hotels in Croatia. We have, of course, as it's a seasonal market, we see, let's see if the laser works. Barely see it. But basically it drops, in low season, and then it goes back again. This, if we compare last year with the year before that, the supply has grown by 5%. Then we have the hotel pricing. These are both past and future on the books trends. We can see from November 2023 until October 2025, and we can clearly see the peak in summer, especially July, August, and we can see that we call it percentile. We have 25th, 50th, 75th, and 90th, and these are from whatever prices the hotels are doing. There are some they're going to have the lower prices, the higher prices, so consider that 0, 100. And then it's the position of those prices within, that range. So the 90th, the highest prices, 25th, the lowest prices. Now, those prices by hotel segment, we have non-star hotels, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star. The red line is the 5 stars, and we can see how much the 5 stars can get in terms of rates on high season. The difference between, the 5-star ones and the other ones in high season, it's quite high. So definitely pushing prices on high season. And here we have just some data about the review count by segment. And we can see that 3-star hotels, maybe they have a specific strategy towards, make a review, maybe make a review and get some discount. I don't know. But the 3 stars are the ones with more reviews. And then the non-stars with less, probably they don't have these sort of incentives. Now, comparing with, we call it peer countries. We're talking about Italy, Greece, and Spain. Croatia is the blue one. And we can see that, for instance, comparing to Italy, for the remainder of the year has higher prices, but Croatia definitely, again, because it's so seasonal, you need to make the most out of those months during summer. The prices peak quite a lot compared to the peer countries. Then we have Greece and Spain, more or less in line, but lower than Italy and Croatia. And now we're going to focus a bit on STR data. And this is a very interesting graph. Here we are showing since September 2024 until March 2023, what was the listing count or the number of units that were available in the market to sell. And we can see that, again, the hotels, because of the seasonality, of course, the costs are higher than a short-term rental. You see that it's going up and down. But short-term rentals, they're always there. So there's something in the market. Of course, not as many people are booking because there's not a lot of demand, but the STR business is there and someone is booking them. So by not looking at short-term rental businesses, we're missing a lot of what's happening on the market, especially during low season. Now, specifically for Split City, we see here in terms of pricing, and here it's not overall short-term rental businesses. The gray line, we're talking about studio and one-bedroom apartments. So they would be more in line with a hotel product. And we can see that short-term rental businesses, it's not just someone with a property and they put a high price on high season, a low price on low season, and that's it. No, as you can see, they are getting more and more professional in the way that they work, and you see that the price fluctuations are in line with what the hotels are doing. So not only they're there, they're also being smart with their pricing strategies. Now, again, as I said, in STR, we can track occupancy. I'm going to spend a little bit of time explaining this graph. It can be a bit confusing, but if we're looking at the right side, September, it's this past September. So the red line that goes up to until October, we're talking about September 2024, and then until October 2023. Then we have a black line. The black line is the same period, but the year before that. All right? So we can see that the occupancy overall has grown, which is a good sign. But as people that do revenue management, for sure, they know that occupancy is not everything. We need to check the rates and ultimately the RevPAR. So we're going to look into those. And here we're seeing the ADR. So same months, but the KPI that we're looking at is ADR. And actually something that I noticed when I was looking at this graph is that overall this year, so this last year that passed, the red line, it's usually higher, but there's a period between March and June where the ADR was actually lower. What happened here? And actually I got a help from my colleague Leanne. She's here somewhere. And she told me about the switch to euro. So the euro switch was beginning of 2023. So if you look at the black line, we're seeing that January, That's when the euro started. So the prices went high. So that's why if you look at this period, the prices are higher. But then again, we learn from the mistakes. If we look at the previous graphs, those months, okay, the occupancy was not so great. So black line in March, 16%, April, 29%, May, 35%. So the occupancies were not great. So what did we do? We dropped the prices. Okay, so you can see that on those months, the prices were lower. And now, okay, did it work or not? Here it is, RevPAR. RevPAR, everyone familiar with RevPAR concept? Someone that's not familiar? Everyone? Awesome. So when we look at RevPAR, we can see that overall, the RevPAR grew. It grew by 9%. But in those specific months, as you can see, we were barely there. So again, there wasn't a right balance between these two. But overall, the market performance from Croatia is positive. Occupancy growth, RevPAR growth, even ADR on most months. So that's a good sign. And now just summarizing a bit the market insights that we got. We see that hotel room supply has grown 5% in the last year. Non-star hotels, they are priced and rated similar to the 3-star segment. The hotel's maximum room count saw a steep decline from October to February, again, low season. Compared to STR, as I said, they're still there because the costs are very different. Regarding Split City itself, we see the price peak from summer season, both STR and hotels. So we are neck and neck in terms of strategy. And then Spain and Greece, this wasn't on the graphs, but they have maximum available capacity compared to Italy and Croatia. And then Croatia has the largest share of high-end properties. So we have higher prices also because of that. In conclusion, key takeaways. So we should get data automatically, of course, otherwise we're spending a lot of time on that. So by getting automatically collected data, we can see the competitor data, market data, so we can do better pricing decisions, so we can do a better strategy. Then implementing those pricing strategies for each property type and, again, lengths of stay is very important to combine both of them. And use technology to streamline operations and maximize revenue. This was one of the key points that Marco mentioned. We also mentioned that. And of course, by using a dynamic pricing tool, you boost your revenues because you're making sure that you're getting the right price at the right time for the right customer. Yeah, I was actually pretty fast with my time. I thought I was going to take longer. You used the QR code, I guess, and the questions. Oh, here they are. All right. So let's go to the first one. From which source PriceLabs collects market insights and data? Great question. We have data from Airbnb, from Vrbo, Booking.com as well. And then we have a partner. I don't know if anyone heard of them. It's called Key Data. They also collect data from the markets, and they help us to validate that information that we gather daily from these channels. Is PriceLabs connected to Rentlio? Wow, and 4 people voted. We're here, right? So yeah, we do connect with them. And then another one, how can the user make the most of PriceLabs during low season if there are no events that trigger the price change? All right, yes. So the main factor for low season is dropping prices, right? Everyone knows that. What you can do, PriceLabs not only does dynamic pricing compared to what the market is doing, your own performance, and we also have market data that we show you. So you can look at the market and make better decisions for the future. I showed you the graph of the market occupancy, for instance. But although it's not here, we have the portfolio analytics, which are reports that show your own property's performance. And one of the things that we have, we call it booking curves. So you can visually see how your business is, transforming and, how it's evolving. And you can see visually, okay, this is how my business on the books for, let's say, August is going. Well, August, not a good example because it's a slow season. Okay, for January, let's say. Is it better? Is it worse? You can see true lines if you are better or worse occupancy, ADR, and RevPAR. That helps you to see if you should make a price change, for instance. I'll give an example. If you're looking at January and you see that your occupancy is getting lower and lower compared to same time last year, but your ADR is still quite high, that is telling me immediately, okay, I need to drop my prices. I need to drop prices to boost occupancy and then at the end of the day, get the RevPAR. And you can see all of that visually. What this can also help with is you can see the booking windows. So let's say 120 days in advance, how many business on the books? And then 90 days in advance, how many business on the books? So you can see visually when people are starting to book January. So you can go to marketing team and say, hey guys, 90 days in advance is the way to go. So you can prepare in advance because, I don't know, it happened to me when I was in hotels. All right, let's launch the offer for Easter. Okay, when should we launch it? It could be too soon or too late. If people are not looking at Easter, you're just spending money, you're spending time on something that it's not going to work. So this will also help you to prepare better for low season, not just dropping prices, add extra services, and even just putting marketing out there and do SEO campaigns, that will help. All right. Can you compare your RevPAR with competition for the past and for now? Yes, you can. It's mostly from short-term rental. Again, we can only track occupancy in short-term rental businesses. So for us to get RevPAR, we need to know the occupancy, right? But even if you look at short-term rental data, you understand if you're performing better or not. And this is one of our key messages. Short-term rentals are also competitors. Me and Fausto were at an event beginning of this year, big revenue management for hoteliers event in Lisbon. Everyone was talking about a lot of things, a lot of data, all for hotels. Lisbon has way more short-term rental businesses than hotels, and they were just not looking at it. So you can use that data and compare, okay? I don't know if we have more questions popping in. That's it? Yeah? The second? Oh, sorry. Don't clap yet. Wait, I missed one. While researching Croatian vacation rental market, which mistakes in sales management did you notice that are worth pointing out? Okay. The example that I gave you on the booking curves, for instance, that's one mistake that people do. They don't look at how the business is going and making changes that you're still on time to do it in a timely manner, being basically proactive and not reactive. Yeah, I think that's one of the main things. And we showed one mistake when we were looking at those months, ADR, with the Euro switch, we were pricing quite high. Then the market understood, hey, not enough, because although I'm increasing prices, my occupancy was not great. So the RevPAR barely didn't have any growth. So that's also one mistake. And yeah, I think those are two examples. Did I answer the question? Anyone, by the way, if someone wants to ask something? that's not in here? Any volunteers? No? All right. Now you can clap. New question. Thanks for clapping, but actually we have one new question, and I have 14 minutes. All right. What do you think about Croatian media campaign that Croatia is overall expensive and that customers choose alternative destinations? That's an interesting question. Croatia, yes, it's expensive. We saw that Croatia has a big amount of five-star hotels, so definitely the prices will be high. But then again, there's also low season, right? Maybe Croatia is just focusing too much on high season, where we know that we can get the money, but we're not capitalizing the low season as well. People are still coming to Croatia on low season, right? Even if it's business travel. Hey, I'm here today. I stayed at the hotel for 2 nights. It's low season, but we're here, right? So we should also focus, yes, it's luxury, it's nice, it has 5-star hotels, but maybe we should also focus a bit on, showing, hey, low season is here, you get very fair prices for the product, and, just use that. Maybe we're focusing too much on high season. More questions. All right. If some short-term rentals close their calendar for any reason, other than reservation, how do you know if it's booked or not? Okay, good question. For some PMSs, I'm talking about internal data, we know what's blocked and what's not blocked. And then when we are scraping the data, we have what we call, we analyze a pattern. Let's say if the regular length of stay on short-term rental for that period is, 1 night, 2 nights. If all of a sudden we see a whole week that's blocked, our algorithm will consider that a possible block. Can be, the owner of the property that wants to stay for a week. So we'll use those patterns to kind of see what's blocked or not. I'm not saying it's perfect because, again, this is public data. We scrape on a daily basis channels. So this is assuming it's not perfect, but that's one of the ways that we can check, if it's blocked or not. Now, how often are the prices refreshed daily if you use PriceLabsa? We do it on a daily basis once. It's usually during nighttime. You can choose what time you want this information to be refreshed. It's a two-way connection, so when we do this update first, we get data from the PMS, then the algorithm calculates the new rates, and then sends it back to the PMS. Although it's once, I'm talking about automatically. You can go anytime, as many times as you want into PriceLabsa, make your changes, or just refreshing in a manual way. So you can do as many as you want manually, but automatically once. I think now, yes, I'm afraid to say it's okay. Well, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll leave on that side.